Generally, on a stock carburetor, you won't have problems with your with damaged jets. But when you get this apart, what you want to do is take your carburetor cleaner and your little tiny hose here, and you want to blow out all these areas and have some rags handy. Do not do this stuff over grass, okay? You see the grass out there? Because if you drop one of these parts, you'll never find it. Or you'll find it as soon as the engine blows up, and it'll just be sitting there. Because I don't know about you, but I can drop a little tiny part from right here all the way to right down there by my foot, okay? Little tiny part. And I'll find it 6 years later across the street underneath that tree, because it just happened to roll that way. I just don't understand how things can do that. You drop something and it disappears. So we use the cleaner here, getting back to that. You can clean all your little tight spaces in here. This right here is your idle screw, which I'm not going to go into right now. I got too much shit to do today. I got to go to the Honda shop and buy a new battery, because I'm gonna go racing. I'm gonna beat all their asses. It's gonna be great. They've never seen a Dio in America before. It's something that the Americans don't see. They just don't see anything like a racing moped. All right, you can see that little pin right there that comes across from the left, from the right. That is this large screw right here. When you screw this screw in, what it does is it keeps pushing that pin in, and it will raise your throttle slide. And that's your throttle slide. But if you want to find more about how to do these, how to clean them, not clean them, but the what's it called, theory. The best way to do it is to go get yourself on the net a thing on needle jets, or this is an excellent book, Two-Stroke Tuning by A. Graham Bell. And this is an old book, but it deals with carburetor theory in layman's terms so that you can understand it. It also deals with go-karts, which I don't know that much about, but they sound cool. And there's only one other book, Two-Stroke Tuning. It's a red book that's even better than this. But this can help you in all aspects of two-strokes. Another point is a lot of people will rebuild the carburetors, rebuild them, but they don't look at the reed valves. This is your stock reed valve. Your gas or fuel goes through the intake, and then it goes through these little tiny valves. These valves can be, the valve basically, it's a little tiny plastic piece of carbon or something. But you can see there's 3 petals right there. That's what they call them, like flower petals. This is another exploded view of it. Now these reed valves have got to be in good shape, which means they have to seal. What happens is the edges right here, and right here, they open and close so many times, every time the piston opens and closes, that their edges get frayed. And this does happen. Nobody looks for that. Now this is a larger setup that I use on my Dio. And you can have all kinds of different reeds. This is a two-stroke reed, a two-part reed. But on the edges of the reed, they all have to seal perfectly. And a lot of these reeds, what happens is they start to fray. And when they start to fray, they lose their sealing ability. And when they do that, your carburetor runs like shit. So what you need to do after you check your carburetor is take your intake off and check your reeds. If the reeds are bad, you need to replace them. If the reeds are frayed, you need to replace them. If the reeds look like there's any kind of a problem, then you got a problem. Now one time I had a carburetor that wasn't working right. I took off the reed valve and I found this little tiny, it's a little tiny spring right there on the one side. One of those pedals was gone. It got sucked down to the engine. I wouldn't have known it unless I would have taken this off and looked at it. But these open and close every time. They open and close every time your engine intake works, okay? And after so many billions and thousands of times, they get frayed on the edges. If you want the best reeds, you want to go with Boyson. Boyson is the best, hands down. Let me see if I got this is Boyson. Right here. Now, they don't make a reed for the Dio, but what you can do is buy a 125 reed, and you can adapt it like I have. You buy the bigger reed, and you put it in here. What Boyson is reed valve material. They make the best. You get higher top speed. It costs you some money, but cheap is weak. You know, performance costs. And it ain't lying if you can back it up. Now, I got to get down to the Honda shop. I wish I could go in there and film, but in America you can't do that because they think you're either a cop, you're from the IRS, you're an investigator, and you just don't do that. In other countries, you may be able to do that. Not here. If you go in a place with a camera, they'll tell you to get the fuck out, or they'll throw your ass out because it's just not done. It's a faux pas. It's you just don't do it. So I wish I could. All right, I've got to go down and pick up a battery, and I hope these videos have helped. If there is anything you need to know more about this, then I'll leave some comments, and I will. I'll leave these carburetors completely undone, and I'll talk about anything you want to talk about on them, because I'm just feeling that I'm just being a nice guy today. All right, rock on.